Cool. Welcome, everybody, to today's session of Multi-Cloud Happenings. My name's Nathan Fuzzi. I'm joined, as usual, by my co-host and good friend, Vishal Patil. And Vishal and I are product managers here at Oracle, focusing on the Exadata database service and base database service, both in OCI and in multi-cloud. And today we're absolutely thrilled to be joined by Tom Rieger, Global Solutions Manager for Google Cloud. Tom, thanks so much for being here today.
Absolutely, Nathan, and thanks for having me.
Awesome. So for today's session, I'm going to talk for just a minute about what Oracle Multi-Cloud is, and talk just briefly about its unique benefits. And then I'm going to turn things over to Tom to go deep on how you can leverage Google Cloud services and integrations with your Oracle business data to take your business insights and actions to the next level. So as we go, please use the chat or the Q&A functions to ask questions at any time. Uh, Tom will probably be answering those as he goes in terms of what he's presenting, but we'll cover all of your remaining questions at the end of the presentation. Just a reminder that our discussion today and any future plans or dates we discuss are not a commitment, may not be incorporated into any contract. As always, though, if you have specific regional availability, service, or feature requests, please reach out to your Oracle account team or to us directly. We'll be glad to work with you. So briefly, what is Oracle Multi-Cloud? Well, Oracle has built partnerships with Microsoft Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud to run Oracle Cloud infrastructure inside their data centers and to make Oracle database services available to their customers through their marketplaces. And physically co-locating the Oracle infrastructure alongside the hyperscalers infrastructure and services allows us to deliver ultra low latency between the Google Cloud application services and the Oracle database services. Another key aspect of Oracle Multi-Cloud is integration of the Oracle infrastructure and services into partner hyperscalers like Google Cloud's portal, APIs, and even native service integrations that enable management and monitoring from within the Google Cloud ecosystem. So all that means you have access to the latest and most robust Oracle database services in the same cloud environment with your applications so you can leverage your business data that resides in the Oracle database for things like AI and analytics. And what does that look like in practice? Let me turn it over to Tom to dive into that. Tom?
Thank you, Nathan. Let me share my screen with you real quick.
There we go.
There we go. Thank you very much. All right, everyone. Uh, Again, thank you for the lovely introduction today, Nathan. My name is Tom Rieger. I'm a global solutions manager for Google Cloud. Um, I do have to state that I've been doing this a long time. So I first started cutting my teeth when it was the mainframe to open systems activities of, I'll call it pre-Y2K. And as we move from mainframe to open systems, and now we think about from on-prem into the cloud, it's another big wave or platform shift going on today for a lot of the same reasons. Again, my name is Tom Rieger. I want to thank everyone, by the way. Nathan did mention this was not named for me. It was actually named for an Oracle person by the name of Tom Kite. But I do want to thank you for at least making me feel a little warmer today. I would like to state, too, that I may have used Gemini to create my own version of myself as an Ask Tom TED Talker, because there was a moment where when I told my wife that I'm doing an Ask Tom session, she goes, "Well, what are you going to do about it?" It's like, "Well, I'm going to look younger, skinnier, taller, smarter." And I even let AI dress me better. So I'd like to thank also not just you, Nathan, and Vishal for having me here, but AI for making me look so darn good today. When we think about pivoting into this, what does Oracle and Google bring together that is very unique to you as clients and you? And I see also, by the way, there's a lot of system integrators and partners on the call today. It really is a big shift in the opportunities to do more with your data. As I mentioned, I've been doing data a long time, and we've been accumulating a lot of data into systems for a long time. And we thought by doing data warehousing since Bill Inman was a young man and started Snowflake schemes were a thing to talk about in the 90s, that would solve a lot of this unlocking of knowledge in our data. But it really hasn't. Where we're really getting into now isn't just unlocking the value in the data, but unlocking the ability to do more with these applications and with the data to automate even more. We've been using words like straight through processing for all kinds of things for years around what we're trying to accomplish with this. And what Oracle does on the right in bringing their strength of an ecosystem, their solutions, their system integrators, the strength they have when it comes to being the primary top tier workload for data for so many organizations in the world, along with their what we call first party applications, e-business suite, PeopleSoft. There's a litany of them. And on the left-hand side, you see here on the screen where we talk about what does Google bring to bear? Well, Google brings, I'm not going to go through the list top to bottom, but one of the things I've discovered in working at Google is we're the largest owners of fiber in the world. All of our fiber for all the things we do in the world is owned by us. And we are on the forefront of being the most reliable and fastest. In fact, Google Cloud Platform is an offshoot of the greater Google machine. Think about what Google as a company does. We scale to billions of people. We deliver search results in sub-second time. And we do things when it comes to YouTube videos and other things that are consumer ready and consumer scalable. So we bring that to bear to help you bring the greatest of reliability and scale. But along with, you may have heard this little thing called AI that we're into called Gemini. There's a lot going on there when it comes to evolving that with what we have to bear. And what we want to get into today is give you some ideas of the arts of the possible around what you can do in bringing together AI with your Oracle data as it exists today. The middle piece alone, I think, is very important to call out certain things here around seamless. You don't need to move the data to empower AI. It can live in the existing Oracle environments that you would move into Google today. It is highly, highly secure. It is also, if I think about from the early days of me doing this, from the mainframe to open systems and open systems to cloud, there's always this narrative we now call technical debt. How do you do more with less? And Moore's law is alive and well when it comes to always being able to scale more and do more for less cost per effort. And then finally, just the interconnect. I mentioned the network and the interconnect. The dirty word today is latency. So how do we bring these things together to bring a proximity to your data, to bring the data and the AI together, as Nathan mentioned, so that you can have that greatest of scalability with the lowest latency? I call out some of these things because some of you may be Google customers, some of you may not, but these are examples of items that we can do to empower your Oracle data as it lives today, whether it be from an AI perspective, from a data visualization perspective, even from I'm a geek when it comes to maps. I always know where north is. So you think about one of the ways and one of the dimensions of all data there is some where element of it. And Google Maps is a leading platform for that as well, along with your ability to scale your analytical abilities in a very serverless way with BigQuery. I'm very impressed with BigQuery in terms of what it can do for the performance and cost narrative, because everything we talk about here today has a cost aspect to it. I was raised by a forensic accountant for a mother, and she taught me at a young age, it doesn't happen until the accountant says so. So clearly my therapist and I talk about that all the time. But more importantly, you need to now go and understand what things cost now in this cloud world. And one of the things that I'm very proud of here at Google is we strive to bring that most efficient of cost narrative to you as our client. Think about it. As I mentioned earlier, everything we do starts rooted in what we do as a consumer company in search, in phones, in everything else. That plays forward in that efficiency for you. I'd like to call out too that earlier this year, in working with Oracle, we have an agentic AI marketplace for Gemini. And Oracle created an entry into that marketplace they call the Oracle AI database at Google Cloud. And this is their intro into that as being a tool that Oracle clients can use to download and have a direct conversation with your data through this product that Oracle has created. Very exciting. I want to get right into it. So I'm going to show you a demonstration. It's going to be a banking example or a financial example, dare I say. And it's going to be, and the application is called Finance AI. You let a lot of engineers name things, they put a Y in for an I. That's what we're going to call this thing. And it's going to give you the ability to have different personas, different types of people using the application for different purposes, depending on where they're at in the organization. It's also going to do real-time querying and real-time integration with the Oracle data itself. And it's going to be very conversational. This is not about you having to maneuver through some sort of complex rollup tool or complex dashboard to get into things. It's going to be where you can ask sentences and ask things in your language and to the answers you want and have it understand ambiguity. That's one of the challenges and one of the things that AI brings to bear is to ask things like better, worse, colder, warmer, and beyond. But at the same time, you can then lean into and do things that are more traditional from a visualization perspective. So we want to make sure that you can appreciate when we talked about, and Nathan did a nice job at showing a quick picture there of what are some of the things that we bring to bear here at Google to surround this Oracle database. So you can see here on the right, there's a lot of different references to Gemini and conversational agent and so on. But we want to make sure that we think about what we're also bringing to bear is this MCP server. MCP servers, I look at them as almost being the way in which AI talks to relational data, talks to any data, really. It is that gateway. Sometimes we think about what ODBC servers were or JDBC servers were. We put an MCP server in there, and that is your gateway to empower AI against your existing data sets. Here's a bit of an architecture. So we have an Oracle database there. We have an application AI layer where we have the front-end conversational agent running through the MCP server. We are also going to show a little bit about how we've also integrated using our data stream product to do real-time replication into our BigQuery analytical engine there on the bottom. You could also use, by the way, one of the tools that is available in the marketplace now is also the Oracle's ETL tool. I'm having a senior moment there, Nathan, to also move data with real-time fidelity. So with that, we'll also show a bit of a looker front end on that as well. So let's get to the demo. Let me stop sharing and then reshare my next tab over here. And we will go to our ominous finance AI. As I mentioned, it will have three personas. I have a finance ops person whose job it is to approve things in a queue that may have been called out for exceptions and hold. We all know who those people are or those organizations, especially when it's expense report time in corporate America. But also we want to, and they want to be able to go out there and analyze things that may be questionable in spending. Secondarily, we have an executive, a CFO executive, who's looking to identify where do they have exposures into certain things, maybe based on even contractual language. And then finally, we have our technical person here that's looking to understand from an engineering perspective how they can do a better job at analyzing and understanding how to make the Oracle database run better, all from the same fundamental structure that I showed you earlier. So here's my front end showing an initial set of things that are proven on hold. And I can go down here and just go right into asking it particular questions. So I'm coming in first thing on a Monday morning, and I'm wanting to please audit our pending transactions and flag any anomalies. Well, it's going to go out there and evaluate all the things that are pending to identify, we have a lot of interesting things going on with people buying laptops and charging them against the system, and they are pending. Well, I also want to appreciate too that I have one here on hold that's $550,000. Maybe I want to change that to pending as well, because I want to look at them all together as a unit. But guess what? This is where we start to maintain the role-based access and role responsibilities I have in my job in my role, and it doesn't let me do that. Why did I call that out? That is not a mistake in the demo. That is a fact that even with AI, whatever exists in the environment today when it comes to rules and what people are allowed to do and not do is maintained even when you put something like Gemini over the top of the application and the data. So I wanted to make sure that we appreciated that this isn't circumventing securities and policies and procedures. Remember, forensic accountant mother, I have a lot of reasons to appreciate that. So I now want to say, please take a look at the policy violations. Can you put the second expense on hold for me? So it's going to go out there, and I'm going to tell it the second one I want to put on hold is this one up here. Actually, I'm going to do it so it's on the screen I'm on. Oh, probably because I didn't number it right. There we go. Of course. Well, show me number 9999. All right. Well, I guess I need to put the ID off. So also, it doesn't like spaces. So you can see here where I can use AI to go in and interrogate the data further, but also say things like, please put ID on hold. Success. So 4999 was approved, and through the AI, I actually agentically went back and through the application asked for it to put this particular ticket on hold. I would then like to go in and say to myself, show held transactions. So instead of going in through the legacy UI to try to understand how to find this reporting and this information, maybe I want to do something like reject ID 49999. Success. So now I've decided through this front end, through identifying that I may have something going on with someone doing things with laptops, I can, through the UI, both research my data in the Oracle environment and then write back into it agentically through the same workflows and policies that exist to decide what I want to do and not do within my particular job. Also, my FinOps person tried to do something they weren't allowed to do, and AI made sure to maintain that security posture as well. Now let's go in as my CFO, Chief Revenue Officer, someone who's higher up. And I want to go in and ask the question around, I want to search our vendor contracts. What is the penalty for early termination of Oracle and GCP contract? Not that that would ever happen, but it's worthy for it to go in and research the PDF files and contracts. And you can see here that it very quickly found, in accordance with the system, here's what the policy is if I want to do something like that. So by using more of a vector search and free-form text from the PDF contracts, I can now bring together, I'll call that structured and semi-structured data. Now, I can also go in and have more of an analytical look or UI experience to do more data visualization, because not everything is a conversation with data. We still like to be able to look at time, data changes over time or in context with each other. So with this, we created a very simple data masking over the top of the Oracle data and made it possible for us to identify, for instance, where are my transactions coming from that may be causing me reasons of concern with things on hold or rejected. But this gives you a lot of different avenues to look at data as you think about how you want to use AI. I'd now like to kind of get into more of my technical side because I believe we're all a little more technical in our ilk as well. So we now have this ability to look at our databases that I'm running, and I want to, for instance, check the database health and tell me what's consuming a lot of resources. How often in my life have I been a slave to the phone call? Hey, my query is slow. What's going on? Why is this happening? How about I go have AI go and interrogate my environment live? This is not using a bunch of legacy AWR data. This is going after live data and tell me what's going on with my most expensive queries. Well, you can see here where, maybe you want to run a set explain on something. Oop. A set explain on something.
Are you sharing the same screen? I'm seeing the finance AI.
You know what? It moved on me. Thank you, Zoom. If someone could call Zoom and tell them they're not my friend right now, I do appreciate that. So one moment, please. Make sure I'm on the right screen. There we go. Thanks for saying that, Vishal. Nothing's worse than me talking like you're seeing what I'm up to and no one sees anything. Do you see the screen now with the query,
Yes.
the slow queries? Perfect. Thank you. All right. So we now have, by using AI and asking questions like, where are my slow queries, generate, and the worst ones come up. I now want to have it say, you know what? Generate an explain plan. Why is this one taking 18 seconds? Oh, yes, you can. I put a space in there. It didn't like the space.
And I think there is a typo. It says explain play. Maybe
oh, explain play. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate the typo. You see, the AI cannot get past my bad grammar or penmanship. All right, now I cannot fulfill this request. As a FinOps manager, you do not have. What do you mean as a FinOps manager? One moment, please. I am not a FinOps manager. I am going to go out here and have it tell me. It wouldn't be a demo on a Thursday if there wasn't a challenge. Check my queries. And you're going to generate and explain plan. Thanks, Vishal, for mentioning that to me. Around this, you know what? I'll choose this one. There we go. Happy Thursday, everyone. It must be a full moon tonight, too. So this gives you a way to go in and use AI as a mechanism to identify where there's potential problems. There's also a lot of evolving skills. I'd like to mention, too, both Oracle has skills and we've created skills for this use case to get deeper into doing very elaborate analysis of the database, along with even for those who haven't played with it yet, it can even generate things like Apex code if you want to do that with Gemini as well. But from an administrative perspective, how can you go in there and have Gemini go and identify where there's, I'll call it, physical issues, CPU, memory, network, and storage, or logical issues, things like query plans, bad or good indexes, and have AI tell me where things are going well along with not going well. So that is what I wanted to go through for this particular demo. I'm not going to go back to my slides as I'd like to show something else. All right. Now I'd like to evolve it a little bit here. Now I'd like to take it to where we're going to do something. And for those of you who know Celia Antonio, if you're on this call, thank you, Celia, for creating this, where she went and provisioned up a full e-business suite and went and provisioned up a ServiceNow environment and created this video that gives you an idea of how you can bring together not just doing things to integrate with your Oracle applications, but to integrate across your portfolio of applications and have them work with each other to better conduct a work process.
Camilla has been dispatched to a wet, loud water treatment facility to fix pump 992, which is vibrating violently. Normally, Camilla would have to take off her safety gloves and tap through multiple screens to check her ticketing platform for history, and then log into a VPN to check her inventory database for parts. But now, she can leverage an intelligent agent and use her voice to request what she needs. By connecting directly to ServiceNow and Oracle EBS, the agent does the heavy lifting, allowing Camilla to use simple natural language right from the field. Notice how she uses her voice to ask the agent to check the pump's history and locate spare parts without ever opening a single drop-down menu. Camilla avoids spending 5 to 10 minutes cross-referencing two completely different enterprise systems. She gets her service history and supply chain visibility instantly, keeping her focused on the physical repair. The agent instantly confirms the replacement O-rings are in stock in her local depot. But as Camilla inspects the pump, she spots a new critical safety issue: a cracked casing. She doesn't want to stop her work to fumble with new ITL forms. Instead, she continues to leverage her AI agent and requests what she needs using her voice. Behind the scenes, the agent simultaneously reserves the inventory in Oracle while posting a new critical incident in ServiceNow. And we can see that orchestration happens in real time. Gemini provided the incident number of the ticket it created. Over in ServiceNow, we can see the exact critical incident she just created, complete with the right priority, routing to the welding team, and notes about the cracked casing. The AI agent is acting as a true enterprise orchestration layer, executing real, governed work on her behalf, simplifying her tasks. Camilla has replaced the O-ring and is ready to wrap up the job. When Camilla asks for her open tickets, Gemini lists them. She describes which ticket she would like to close and provides a resolution status. By understanding the conversational context, Gemini knows exactly which ticket to close and triggers parallel writes to Oracle EBS. What used to be 15 minutes of clunky data entry across two screens is now handled in a single interaction. Over in ServiceNow, we can see her original service ticket. Once selected, we see that the status of the ticket has been changed to resolved, and the correct resolution was captured. By eliminating this heavy administrative burden, Camilla fixes critical infrastructure faster and finishes her shift on time. This is true agentic AI. Enterprise Gemini orchestrates complex tasks across ServiceNow and Oracle EBS seamlessly. Modernize your operations and empower your work.
So I felt that was, every time I watch that, it makes me appreciate the evolution of where we are when it comes to using APIs and integrating systems together. If we think about it, what agentic AI is doing with Gemini is a big evolution from where we were, I'll call it 10 years ago, with integration platforms as a service. You think about how what I just showed you was the promise of the MuleSofts and Workados of the world around bringing together different web services and automating those web services to do things. But now we're doing it in a much more agentic fashion where you can be a lot less if then else, a lot less where you can deal with the ambiguity of language and what is being asked by the human and how you can bring things together. So that was, I felt that worthy, and my apologies, that's not a live demo, but I don't have an EBS environment and a ServiceNow environment to create that for you, but it's very much alive and well. I want to highlight too, just a couple days ago, within Google as a company, we are coming out now with more industry-specific Gemini enterprise agentic abilities. Here's an example of what we're doing in financial services, and I'll have the slides sent out to everyone through Vishal and Nathan, along with what we're doing in legal. We're also coming out with additional industry use cases for manufacturing, for government, and others, relating to how we can do things specifically for you and make these be, I'll call it, pre-baked recipes. My daughter works in a bakery right now, so I have bakery in my head. So very excited for where that's going when it comes to how we make these much more turnkey and easier for you. So I want to make sure there's some key takeaways here. When I think about what Nathan showed first around how we're able to run Oracle inside Google for you and how we can bring these things together, there's a deep integration in this kind of data proximity narrative that comes about having them closer together so that we can make sure that they scale and are secure to the way you want them. Also doing things in context. If you think about, first of all, running AI against your direct data to do anything agentic, it doesn't make sense. What makes sense, let's be honest, is you run it in the context of the application you're running. So you're not going to go out there and order new O-rings and open up a ticket and talk directly to the database. You're going to do it in the context of an agentic agent talking through the application and maintaining that application. Let's also not forget that becomes very much true even in my first demonstration when I showed you when I tried to change that ticket to a different status, I couldn't. The data in the application maintained that level of security for my particular role as the user in the demonstration. Also, our cloud architecture we have here at Google, the third box on the right, we bring the greatest level of scale and security. We're doing this for billions of people and for everything from search and YouTube. Think about what we can do for you and how that brings scalability and cost efficiency. There's always a human in the loop. This is not you still have people who are hands-on keyboard or hands-on computer or hands-on doing work. So this is not looking to over automate. Let's appreciate over automation isn't good either. We see examples of that in the news all the time in the last couple of years. And finally, it's very modular. Everything we do here is like a Lego block that you can bring together to very quickly succeed quickly or fail quickly, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So I want to just recap this for you when it comes to what we do to bring together for you that's very unique to Google, that I find very unique when I came to work here 18 months ago, and how in the context of Oracle, with all of these, in some cases, decades of data in this Oracle environment, how we can bring forth a better ability to identify that needle in the needle stack, dare I say, but at the same time, drive greater automations through your existing enterprise systems. This is not making you replumb, redo anything. How do we augment? How do we surround what you're trying to accomplish to bring together the right value proposition? So I'd like to thank you and hand it back to Nathan and Vishal to see if there's also any questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. Yeah. So Vishal and I have been answering a few questions in the chat. I wanted to raise one that I think is probably on everybody's mind here, and that's does using the MCP Toolbox give Google access to all of my database data?
It does not. Oh my gosh. No, we are not nefarious in any way, shape, or form. No, the MCP, you think about the MCP Toolbox, it is something running within the VPC of your environment. It is an instance for you. It is not this shared thing that could somehow overlap, and next thing you know, two competitors are running into each other. This is definitely meant to be an environment that and trust me, working here at Google for 18 months, I think we're all ready to get our law degrees in terms of what we can and cannot do as employees here, in the respect of what our clients look to accomplish. So no, not in any way, shape, or form is any data ever made available to anything. More importantly, that data is also not used by Gemini in any way outside of the context of your purposes. So that is a fun and interesting, I'll call it, narrative that people have come up with and asking that is as far from the truth as you could ever get. Thank you, Nathan, for asking.
Yeah, appreciate that, Tom.
I see there is one more question. Is the demo app you showed talking to the database using Oracle AI Database Agent in Gemini Enterprise? Or is that MCP Toolbox? Just a clarification.
That was a good question. So that was an MCP Toolbox because MCP Toolbox allows me to read and write back with an agent. The tool that you as Oracle put into our marketplace is much more of a read-only tool for asking questions and working through the LLM to do things back on the backend database. So that is the MCP Toolbox, which, by the way, is also something that we run as a service inside Google as well. So you don't have to provision an MCP Toolbox. You can just use the one we have as a service, which, by the way, back to your point, Nathan, is dedicated to you as an organization. It is not a shared service that could somehow go sideways.
Yeah, I can think of one more question is, how
Bring it
is it
on.
different? How is it different than Oracle's MCP server? Oracle has its own MCP server, and this is the MCP toolbox we are talking in Google Cloud. So how is it different?
They really aren't different. I think there's things you're doing in your MCP toolbox that are much more specific to Oracle down in the binaries, down in the weeds. But at the same time, the MCP toolbox, it's more of an enabler to communicate to Oracle. I think where it gets interesting is when you start looking at the skills. If you go out and look on GitHub and go look at Oracle skills, we can use those with Gemini as much as we also have Gemini Oracle skills that we've created organically inside our engineering organization as well. And they actually work together. They don't compete, they work together. So for instance, some of the skills that we have that work through MCP could do a lot more around performance tuning the database. For a lot of the skills that you as Oracle have created, I think are very interesting, is around actually, for instance, having Gemini create Apex code for you, which I think is a very compelling scenario for some of your clients who are really knee deep into using Apex today. So how do we bring these things together to collaborate and do more, which, by the way, is a demonstration that we are working on right now in my team that we will show the next time we have an Ask Tom session. That's right. I'm going to end this the right way, making sure that it's about me.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. I know we're over time here, but appreciate everybody joining today. Tom, thanks so much. It was a real pleasure having you on, and hopefully we'll do this again.
Absolutely, Nathan. And thank you, Vishal. And thanks, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Thank you, Tom.
All right. Thank you.